It's finally here. This is my replacement for my full suspension. It's the Marin Rift Zone 1 29, and I think this could be the best budget full suspension on the market. But there's only one way to find out. We need to open this up and see what this bike is made of. One of the things that I was super impressed by was how well Bikes Online packaged it. They supply a lot of Velcro straps and padding in the box. There was no way that this bike was going to get damaged in shipment, and I really appreciate that. Now that we got all the packaging taken off, let's go ahead and let's install the handlebars. This is super easy, and Bikes Online even supplies this little mini torque wrench with all these bits to help you get that process done. Now that we got the handlebars installed, there's one last thing to do, and you have to pick out some pedals because this Marin doesn't come with any of them. So once you have your favorite pedals, you can go ahead and install them. I picked up these Crank Brother Egg Beater 3s for 75 bucks on Amazon. These things retail for 150 on Crank Brothers website. I feel like I almost stole these things. Now that we got this thing fully put together and it's ready to ride, let's go ahead and weigh it while it's fully stock. This thing came in at 34.68 pounds. I think that's actually really light for a budget bike. Most other brands that are in this price range come in somewhere around 36 to 37 pounds. This Marin is already starting out to be an awesome deal. Now this comes with a RockShox Recon Silver 130 millimeter fork. I've never tried one of these forks before, and I am super excited to actually take this thing out on the trail and see what it can do. Now this does come with some really nice wide bars made by Marin at 780 millimeters. These things are going to be ready to shred. Not only that, also on the handlebars you can see that this comes with some Shimano MT200 hydraulic brakes. Now the Shimano MT200s, they do come with 180 millimeter rotors on the front and the back. Now one thing about these MT200s is bed them in really well. I don't know if it's the rotors or the brake pads, but these things took quite a while to actually bed in. I was a little concerned that they weren't going to give me the stopping power that the Tektros gave me on the Giordano, but after getting them bed in properly, they seem to be stopping me just fine. Now this comes with a brand of tire I personally have never tried or heard of, V tires. They're called the Crown Gems. I can't wait to get out and try these and see if I actually like this brand that I've never even heard of. This has an 11-speed cassette that's absolutely gigantic. It goes from 11 teeth all the way up to 51. That's massive. I've never had a cassette with that big a range on it before. Now this does come with an external bearing bottom bracket, but this thing comes with a Marin branded crankset. That's going to be something I'm probably going to upgrade in the near future. Now check this out, it comes with an 11-speed Dior Shadow derailleur, and that has a clutch built into it. And it also comes with the Dior shifter that matches it perfectly. This Marin is rocking an X Fusion shock, and I was super stoked to see this because I bought that X Fusion fork for my Giordano. And I'm excited to try out this X Fusion O2 Pro R rear suspension that's going to deliver 125 millimeters of travel. Now if you like branded parts on this, Marin's name is stamped all over it. But funny enough, this doesn't look tacky. I really was worried that with all the Marin branding that it was just going to be an overload. But for whatever reason, they did a really good job at making it feel really subtle, and you don't notice all the branding until you really start to look deep into it. Now I'm super impressed with the paint job on this Marin. It looks like a really high quality paint job that's going to last for a long time. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this large frame geometry. The stack height is going to be 611.7 millimeters. The reach is going to come in at 480 millimeters. The head tube angle is a super slack 65.5 degrees. The head tube length is going to come in at 110 millimeters. The seat tube angle comes in right around 76 degrees, which makes for a super comfortable ride whenever you're bombing down those trails. Now, one important thing is this seat tube length. This is going to be 425 millimeters on the large. You're going to want to know this for whenever you go to buy a dropper post. Now, the effective top tube length is going to be right around 632.51 millimeters. The bottom bracket height comes in at 344 millimeters. Now, the bottom bracket drop comes in at 34 millimeters. The chainstay is actually surprisingly short at 425 millimeters. That should make this bike pretty snappy out on the trail. The wheelbase comes in a total length of 1,213 millimeters. Now, the standover height is 717.83 millimeters. Now, this next one is a really important number. The seat post came in at 30.9 millimeters. Now, that's really important because if you remember on the Giordano, it was 30.4, and that caused a huge problem in selections for dropper posts. But Marin did it right. With the 30.9, you're gonna have a big selection that you can pick from. Now, that handlebar width, like I said earlier, is a wide 780 millimeters. Now, the stem length is only 35 millimeters. I may want one that's right around 45 millimeters. We're just gonna have to see how this bike feels out on the trail. Now, the crankset comes in at 175 millimeters, and that seems to be pretty standard across the board when you're talking about a large frame. Now that we know all the specs and all the details on this bike, there's one last thing to do, and that's to get out on my backyard trail and see if this thing can actually shred. I tell you what, for the little amount that I actually got to ride this bike today, this thing was amazing. This bike had a totally different feel than what my last full suspension had, and I really think I'm going to enjoy this. That super slack head tube angle is going to take a while to get used to, but I think it's going to be a huge advantage when I'm going downhill. We're just going to have to see how well it does climbing up hills. And there you go, that is the Marin Rift Zone 129. Drop-in crew, let me know what you think of this bike below. And if anybody is interested in buying one of these bikes, check out my links below. It's a Bikes Online affiliate link. It's no additional cost to you, and anytime somebody uses those links to purchase a bike, a little bit of money comes back to help out this channel so I can continue to make this type of content. So now I wonder what the next upgrade's gonna be. Yeah, the next upgrade is here and it's ready to install. So make sure you come back next week for this big upgrade.